My sister got a $50,000 Mercedes while I got a $2 piggy bank. Seconds later, Dad threatened to call the cops on me for the car in my name. I sit cross-legged on the hardwood floor of my parents' Denver living room, surrounded by torn wrapping paper and the artificial pine scent of Christmas morning. My sister Brooke twirls her manicured fingers around a set of shiny Mercedes keys, the metal catching the twinkling lights from the tree as she pirouettes like a teenager instead of a 32-year-old woman. "I can't believe it," she squeals, bouncing on her toes. "My own luxury sedan." Dad beams at her with unfiltered pride, Mom clasping her hands beneath her chin like she's witnessing a miracle. The car sits in the driveway, a glossy pearl-white testament to parental devotion, complete with an enormous red bow that probably cost more than what they spent on my entire Christmas. Meanwhile, I stare at the object in my lap, a plastic piggy bank shaped like a cartoon mouse from a children's show I outgrew 25 years ago. The price tag they forgot to remove reads $1.99. "Open it," Mom urges, gesturing toward the small rubber stopper on the bottom. My fingers feel numb as I comply. 2 crisp $1 bills flutter out. "It's the start of your future home fund, honey," Dad announces with a dismissive wave. "You're always so responsible with money, not like some people." He winks at Brooke, who pretends to look offended. The silence stretches like taffy between us until Mom fills it. Brooke needs reliable transportation for her new marketing clients. "Those creative types expect a certain image, you know?" Brooke drops onto the couch beside me, her expensive perfume clouding my senses. "Don't worry, sis, I'll drive you around whenever you need." She pats my knee with patronizing gentleness. "Your little Honda must be on its last legs by now." The Honda that carried me through 7 hours of mountain passes yesterday. The Honda I paid off myself 3 years ago. The Honda that's more reliable than any relationship in this room. I can't breathe. 34 years of moments, just like this one, crystallize in my mind with perfect clarity. This isn't an anomaly, it's the pattern of my entire life. Just this morning I had carefully wrapped their gifts, a leather portfolio for Dad that cost 2 weeks' salary, the turquoise necklace Mom had admired in a downtown boutique window, the professional camera Brooke had casually mentioned wanting, all purchased by setting aside a little from each paycheck for months. I'd rehearsed my announcement during the entire drive down from Boulder. Senior structural engineer. The promotion I'd earned through nights and weekends of extra work, designing buildings that would stand for generations. I'd imagined their faces lighting up with pride, finally seeing me as something more than Brooke's responsible older sister. "Maybe this Christmas will finally be different," I'd whispered to myself at each rest stop. My hands tremble as I place the piggy bank on the coffee table. The plastic makes a hollow sound against the glass. "Excuse me," I manage, my voice sounding like it belongs to someone else. "Bathroom." I walk, don't run, up the familiar stairs, past the wall of family photos where Brooke's face dominates every frame. The bathroom door closes behind me with a soft click before I twist the lock. My reflection stares back at me, eyes too dry, face too composed. I press my palms against the cold marble counter, waiting for tears that won't come. The pressure builds in my chest instead, like concrete hardening around my lungs. People talk about heartbreak like it's abstract. It's not. I feel each chamber of my heart contracting painfully, blood struggling to push through narrowing vessels. My sternum aches like someone has pressed a knee against it. This is what dying feels like, I think. Not dramatic, just diminishing. The night stretches endlessly as I lie awake in my childhood bedroom, listening to Brooke's laughter from downstairs as she and my parents plan her first road trip in the new car. At 2:17 a.m., I finally sit up. I pack quickly, taking only what matters: the faded stuffed rabbit my grandmother gave me, the photo album from college, the small wooden box containing my first professional blueprint. The expensive gifts I've given them over the years stay where they are. They were never about gratitude anyway. The house is silent as I carry my suitcase down the stairs. My house key lies cold in my palm for a moment before I place it on the kitchen counter beside the coffee maker that will brew in 3 hours. They have made their choice. Now I'm making mine. Streetlights blur into watery halos as I navigate empty highways. The dashboard clock reads 3:42 a.m., Christmas morning. My windshield wipers battle against thickening snow while Bing Crosby croons about white Christmases from the radio. I twist the volume knob until his voice fades to silence. "Have yourself a merry little Christmas," I whisper to the empty passenger seat, my voice breaking on merry. The irony burns like acid. Through Denver's southern outskirts, my Honda's heater struggles against the December chill. 7 years old with 180,000 miles, this car carried me through college, first jobs, promotions. It never complained about mountain passes or tight parking spots. Unlike the gleaming Mercedes sitting in my parents' driveway with its ridiculous red bow, my car earned its place in my life. Around 6, my phone buzzes against the center console. I glance down to see Mom's face lighting up the screen. Not "Are you safe?" or "Please come home." Just, "Did you remember to pay the electric bill for the cabin before you left Boulder?" The cabin they bought for weekend getaways that Brooke uses for social media photo shoots. A semi-truck passes, spraying slush across my windshield. For 3 terrifying seconds, I drive blind until the wipers clear enough space to see. My hands shake against the steering wheel as memories flood faster than the wipers can clear them away. 5th birthday. Brooke's princess party with professional decorations, pony rides and a 3-tier castle cake, 30 neighborhood kids in party hats. My celebration the following year, grocery store sheet cake, 2 friends from kindergarten, party supplies from the dollar bin. "Your sister needs the social stimulation," Dad explained when I asked why. "You're more independent." Independent. Their code for "you don't need us." High school graduation. Valedictorian. My carefully crafted speech about persistence and dreams. Empty seats in the family section because Brooke's junior varsity soccer team had an away game. "We'll watch the recording," Mom promised. The DVD sat unwrapped on my dresser until I left for college. "Your sister needs the encouragement," Mom said. "You always succeed without our help." Without help. Their code for "you're on your own." College years flash before me as highway signs count down miles to the California border. Working 25 hours weekly at the campus bookstore and library. Taking maximum course loads to graduate early. Stretching student loans and scholarships while Brooke explored artistic inspiration across Europe on our parents' dime. "Your sister needs to find herself," Dad insisted during one of our rare phone calls. "You've always known exactly who you are." Known who I am. Their code for "you don't deserve exploration." My phone buzzes again. Dad this time. I let it ring until voicemail catches it. The first hint of dawn lightens the eastern horizon as tears blur oncoming headlights into golden streaks. I pull onto the shoulder, hazards blinking, and press my forehead against the steering wheel. The patterns crystallize with sudden clarity. Dad controlling the money, withholding from me while bankrolling Brooke's every whim. Mom manipulating emotions, making me feel selfish for wanting even scraps of attention. The perfect system. One parent handling financial favoritism, the other maintaining emotional control. My phone rings again. Not family this time. Rebecca Martinez, my college roommate turned lifelong friend. "Where are you?" Her voice, warm and worried, fills the car through Bluetooth. "Somewhere in southern Oregon," I say. My voice sounds hollow. Unrecognizable. "Heading south." "To where?" "I don't know." The line goes quiet for a moment. Then, "Come to Los Angeles. Stay with me." Family doesn't treat family like this. Rebecca knows. She witnessed the evidence firsthand during college. The packages that arrived for me containing practical necessities, while Brooke received designer clothes. The holiday breaks when I stayed in dorms because flying home was too expensive. The same years my parents took Brooke to Aspen and Hawaii. "I can't impose." "Stop," Rebecca's voice turns firm. "You've spent your whole life being the helper. Let someone help you for once." The words crack something open inside me. Help. Such a simple concept, yet foreign to my experience. In my family, help flows one direction, toward Brooke. Toward my parents. Never toward me. "Okay," I whisper, surprising myself. "Text me your location every hour. Drive safe." I'm making up the guest room. By 7:30 a.m., I cross the California state line. The Welcome to California sign gleams in early sunlight. My phone screen shows 17 missed calls, 32 text messages. With deliberate motions, I turn off notifications from Mom, Dad, and Brooke. The silence feels weightier than any accusation. A small roadside diner appears ahead, its neon open sign a beacon in the morning light. I pull into the nearly empty parking lot. Inside, the warmth envelopes me like an embrace. Coffee-scented air and the sizzle of breakfast on a distant grill. An older waitress with silver-streaked hair approaches with a coffee pot. "Rough night?" she asks, filling a mug without waiting for my answer. Her name tag reads Ruby. "Rough life," I mutter, then feel immediately embarrassed by the melodrama. Ruby doesn't flinch. "Honey, I've been serving coffee for 40 years. I know heartbreak when I see it. Family or boyfriend?" "Family." She nods, sliding a menu toward me. "Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family." Her weathered hand rests briefly on mine. "The special's good today. Comes with extra bacon." I order the special and wrap my hands around the coffee mug. Ruby's words echo as I watch snowflakes dissolve against the window glass. "Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family." For 34 years, I've been related to the Collins family. Perhaps it's time to find out what being part of a real family feels like. 3 weeks later, I am settled in Rebecca's spare bedroom in her Los Angeles apartment. My phone vibrates against the nightstand for the 13th time this morning. Dad's number. Again. I count to 10 before silencing it, adding his call to the growing cemetery of voicemails I refuse to resurrect. The first week, their messages held confusion. The second, concern. Now in week 3, they've evolved into something darker, manipulation wrapped in parental authority. Flora Elizabeth Collins, Dad's latest voicemail thunders through the speaker when I finally check. "If you don't return this car immediately, I'll report it stolen. This childish behavior has gone on long enough." The Honda. My Honda. The one with my name on the title and 7 years of paid-off receipts. I crush the throw pillow against my stomach, swallowing the acid that rises in my throat. Mom's message follows. "The doctor says my blood pressure is dangerously high because of the stress you're causing. Is that what you want? For me to end up in the hospital because you're being selfish?" I delete them both without responding, though my finger hovers over the screen longer than I care to admit. My temporary sanctuary in Rebecca's spare bedroom feels both foreign and familiar. The walls are painted a soft sage green that catches the morning light, warming the space in ways my bolder apartment never did. On the dresser, my laptop displays an email I've rewritten 14 times. "Dear Mr. Thompson, I'm writing to formally request a transfer to the Los Angeles office, effective immediately." My finger clicks send before I can reconsider. No family connections. No favors called in. Just my work record. My reputation. My worth as a structural engineer. 3 hours later, the approval arrives in my inbox. Just like that. As if I've always been capable of creating my own path. "You got it?" Rebecca appears in the doorway, reading my expression. Her dark curls frame a face lined with genuine happiness for me. The concept still feels foreign, someone celebrating my accomplishments without making them about themselves. "I start Monday, I confirm. Now I just need to find a place." Rebecca grins. Already called Carmen from yoga class. She manages apartments in Santa Monica. Rent control. Safe building. 20-minute commute to your new office. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," she cuts me off, dropping onto the bed beside me. Friends help friends. No strings attached. Novel concept for you, I know. The words hit their mark. No strings. No obligations. No scorekeeping. The tears I've been holding back for 3 weeks threaten to break through. "I made you an appointment too," she adds, sliding a business card onto my laptop. "Dr. Hamilton. Tuesday at 4. The card reads Patricia Hamilton, Ph.D., Family Therapy. "I'm not crazy," I whisper. "No," Rebecca agrees. "But you've been carrying something heavy for a very long time. It might help to put it down somewhere safe." On Tuesday afternoon, the therapist's office smells like lavender and old books. Dr. Hamilton wears reading glasses on a silver chain and comfortable shoes that make no sound on the carpet. She doesn't rush to fill silences, just waits while I struggle to form words that have never been spoken aloud. "Favoritism," I finally say. The word hanging between us like a newly discovered planet. "My entire life." "And how did that make you feel?" she asks. "Like I was worth exactly $2, I answer. Later that week, the apartment Carmen shows me is small, 650 square feet with a kitchenette barely wide enough for a refrigerator. But the windows face west, catching afternoon sunshine that spills across hardwood floors. It's mine by nightfall. I buy a futon, a lamp, and a small desk. Nothing more. The emptiness feels intentional rather than impoverished. Space to grow into. Rebecca drags me to a community center the following Saturday. Painting class, she announces. You need something that isn't work or therapy. I protest until my brush touches canvas, feeling the paint flow and resist simultaneously. The instructor, a woman with silver hair and paint-spattered overalls, stands behind me. Don't force it, she murmurs. Listen to what it wants to become. My fingers tremble as they create something from nothing. By class end, I've painted a small imperfect landscape with uneven horizons. It's hideous and beautiful and entirely mine. The first video call comes 4 weeks after Christmas. I answer on the third ring, steeling myself against the familiar surge of guilt their faces trigger. Where have you been? Dad demands immediately. His face fills the screen, red with indignation. Your mother has been worried sick. Behind him, Mom dabs at eyes that remain strategically dry. Los Angeles, I answer calmly. I transferred offices. Without discussing it with us first? Mom interjects, pushing into frame. How could you be so inconsiderate? The old pull tugs at my chest. Apologize, placate, make it right. But Dr. Hamilton's words echo, your feelings are valid. Their reactions belong to them, not you. I needed space, I say instead. Space from what? Dad barks. From family? From responsibility? From growing up? From feeling invisible? I reply, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. From being valued less than Brooke? From trying to earn love that should have been freely given? Mom's tears flow instantly, right on cue. How can you say such hurtful things? We've always loved you both the same. I'm not responsible for your feelings anymore, I tell her. The words feel like stones I've been carrying in my mouth for years, finally released. I'm responsible for mine. Dad slams his palm against the table. This conversation is over until you're ready to apologize. Then I guess we're done talking, I answer, and end the call. In days to come, the rumors reach me through LinkedIn messages and texts from former coworkers. According to family lore, I've had a mental breakdown. I'm living in squalor. I've joined a cult. Brooke's Instagram shows her looking concerned in tastefully filtered photos, captioned with vague references to family heartbreak and praying for those struggling with mental health. My new co-workers know nothing of this narrative. They see only my work, the precision of my calculations, the innovation in my designs. When Brooke shows up unannounced at the office reception 10 days later, Rebecca happens to be dropping off lunch. She's in a meeting, Rebecca informs her coolly, and she'll remain in meetings indefinitely for uninvited visitors. My therapy group meets Wednesday evenings in a community center that smells of coffee and old linoleum. 8 strangers connected by similar wounds. Family doesn't get a pass just because they're family, says Walter, a 60-year-old accountant who hasn't spoken to his brother in 20 years. Love without respect isn't love. It's possession. The words settle in my chest like truth. 6 months after Christmas, my apartment has transformed. Paintings line the walls, each piece more refined than the last. A proper bed has replaced the futon. The promotion to senior project manager came with a raise that ended any lingering financial anxiety. On my bookshelf sits the plastic piggy bank. I filled it with crisp $2 bills, one for each week of freedom. Not as punishment, but as a reminder. Sometimes the smallest betrayals reveal the largest truths. The first holiday season approaches with both dread and relief. No presents to buy that won't be appreciated. No performances to maintain. No diminishment to endure. Just me in a space I've created, becoming someone I'm finally learning to value. Worth far more than $2. A month later, the ivory envelope sits on my kitchen counter like a landmine. 3 days it's been there, untouched. Cousin Amanda's wedding invitation. My name in swooping calligraphy, Flora Collins. No +1. Just me, expected to return to the fold unaccompanied. What are you thinking? Dr. Hamilton asks, her office chair creaking as she leans forward. I trace the edge of the armrest, counting the brass tacks one by one. I'm going. Her eyebrows rise slightly. That's a change from last week. On my terms, I add quickly. I've booked a room at the Marriott 4 blocks from the venue. Dad called twice, insisting I stay at their rental house with everyone. And what did you say? Nothing, I smile, remembering the satisfaction of letting his voicemail fill with increasingly desperate messages. The boundary is the message. 7 months of therapy has taught me the vocabulary of self-protection. 7 months since I drove away. 7 months of rebuilding myself, one therapy session, one painting class, one peaceful evening alone at a time. During the session, my phone buzzed. Brooke. The third text today, can't wait to see you next weekend. We need sister time before the wedding madness. I slide the phone back into my purse without responding. Dr. Hamilton notices. Your sister again? Suddenly we're best friends, I laugh, but it comes out hollow. She never texted this much when we lived in the same city. What do you think she wants? A ride from the airport. Money. The old Flora who carried her emotional baggage along with her actual luggage. I run my fingers across the fabric swatch on my lap, midnight blue silk for the dress I've commissioned. 3 fittings to ensure it hangs perfectly from my shoulders, schemes my curves without apology. The color of power, not reconciliation. They've enlisted flying monkeys, I tell Dr. Hamilton. Uncle Robert called last night about how families need to stick together. Aunt Linda emailed about forgiveness being divine. Even Amanda's fiancé sent a Facebook message. They're coordinating. And how does that make you feel? Before therapy, I would have said fine. Always fine. Instead, I trace the physical truth of my emotions. The tightness in my throat, the cold sweat along my hairline, the slight tremor in my fingers. Terrified, I admit. But also, ready. Later that evening, I spread the seating chart Amanda accidentally included in a group email across my kitchen table. There I am, placed between my parents, directly across from Brooke. The family tableau restored. I reach for my phone. Amanda? It's Flora. I have a small request about the seating arrangements. On Christmas, sunshine spills across the hardwood floors of my Los Angeles apartment as friends gather around a table that actually belongs to me. The scent of rosemary and sage from the roasting turkey mingles with laughter, real laughter, not the strained kind that used to echo through my parents' house. To Flora, Rebecca raises her glass, her dark curls catching the light from the window. Who builds bridges better than anyone I know, both at work and in life. My cheeks warm at the toast. 1 year ago today, I placed a house key on a counter and drove away from everything familiar. Now I stand in an apartment filled with people who choose to be here, surrounded by paintings I created with my own hands. And to Senior Project Manager Collins, adds Daniel, his fingers brushing mine under the table. His touch still sends electricity through me, not the lightning strike of infatuation, but the steady current of something building toward permanence. Whose team finished the Westfield Tower project 2 weeks ahead of schedule? Daniel understands deadlines and structural integrity, an environmental engineer who values sustainability in buildings and relationships alike. When he first asked me to coffee 6 months ago, I almost declined. Old habits of self-sacrifice die hard. My therapist called it progress when I said yes. The wall clock shows it's time for dinner. Around my table, conversation flows between Rebecca, Daniel, and friends from my engineering firm and painting class. No one mentions the piggy bank displayed on my mantel, now filled with dollar bills representing lessons rather than resentment. After dessert, Brooke texts a photo of a handmade painting, clearly her first attempt at art therapy. Not pretty but made with love. Mailing it tomorrow. Then another message arrives from my mother, found this in the attic while downsizing. It always belonged to you. The attachment shows my childhood dollhouse, the one thing I truly loved growing up. The ownership paperwork sits below it, officially making it mine. Later, when everyone has gone and Daniel helps with the last dishes, I step onto my balcony. Los Angeles sprawls before me, lights from the freeways reflecting on the distant ocean. Buildings I helped design stand in silhouette against the night sky. Worth isn't something you earn through usefulness, I whisper to the city lights. It's something you claim by knowing what you will and won't accept. Daniel joins me, wrapping a blanket around my shoulders against the December chill. Deep thoughts? Just grateful, I answer, leaning into his warmth. Sometimes the greatest gift is realizing what you won't accept anymore. The piggy bank sits visible through the window, no longer a symbol of what I lacked but what I found. the courage to value myself first.